So when you're thinking about car audio and a brand that fits your store, you want to make sure that it checks off certain boxes. Well, today's feature brand will definitely check off a lot of boxes and have some unique features to boot. Of course, we're talking about Hertz Audio. We've got product specialist Justin Bond, who's joining us today to give us all the details on this full, complete line. This is CMA Networks, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Hertz Audio. And it starts now. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another CMA Network session presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and we're talking about car audio. And today in specific, we're talking about a brand with its roots in Italy. Yes, a European brand of car audio that's made its ways into the North American market many, many years ago and has really a complete line of product in multiple categories to present to you today. Now, Justin, I know we got a lot to cover, but can you give us a quick overview of what we want to touch on specifically today?
Hey, Ben. It's nice to be back. Yes, Hertz is an enormous line. So today we're going to talk about our speakers, obviously, subwoofers, amplifiers, and our new preloaded flagship enclosure.
Justin, it's great to have you back, and I can't wait to get into Hertz Audio with you. But first, a quick message from our sponsor, SiriusXM, reminding you dealers out there why you love it. And when we come back, Hertz Audio.
Hey guys, Ricky Lima here from SiriusXM. I had a chance to speak to some dealers and ask them what they love about selling SiriusXM. Here's what they had to say.
Coast-to-coast coverage.
I love SiriusXM for commercial-free music.
It's a great add-on sale and a profit opportunity.
We love selling SiriusXM because you can listen to the same channel coast to coast.
Profitability and ease of installation. It's a no-brainer.
We love selling SiriusXM for its ease of installation, great profitability, and reliability.
People love it.
All right, we're back and we're going to get right into it. Now, Justin alluded to it. I alluded to it. Hertz Audio represents a very complete line. Yes, in multiple categories, but on today's show, of course, we're going to be targeting in on the products related to car audio. Now, Justin, before we begin, let's give those dealers tuning in who may not be familiar with the Hertz brand a little bit of background information so we could stage this presentation today properly.
Hey, Ben. Yeah, absolutely. So Hertz itself was founded in 1998. But its parent company, Electromedia, those guys have been around together since 1979. In 98, we started with our first proprietary material that we developed called Tetalon, and that's what we use in a lot of the tweeter domes in our speakers. I mean, it's a substrate that delivers with high energy, high sensitivity, and high power handling. Our first speaker was the high energy series of speaker. 2002, we won an EISA award or EISA award for what's called the Space 6K. So this is 2002 with a 39 millimeter woofer back then. 2005 was our first conceptualization of the Melee product and the introduction of our V-Cone. We started amplifiers in 06. 2011, we redesigned Melee and we began using Klippel. And if those of you guys who don't know, Klippel is a laser-guided measurement system that we use to measure all of our speakers in design and production to ensure that what you're getting from the speaker is within a certain variance of the original design. After that, we released our HEP amplifiers in 2012. We won the EISA award again for 13 and 14 for Best in-Car Amplifier. 14, we introduced what's still around right now is what we call Melee Legend, which is our highest line of speakers, our new flagship. And then 1 year after, we introduced what we call our Melee Pro line. So we use an automated manufacturing process for those speakers, and that's able to provide a really great price to performance ratio. So it makes them much more affordable to a much wider range of car audio hi-fi fan. In 2016, we released our first digital signal processor, the H8, and as well as decided to get into the marine line of things. Once again, we own our own factory, our La Voce factory. So that lets us pretty much do what we want. We are in charge of everything from product design, development, production, manufacturing, and then onto the shipping or the final kind of situation. 2018, we released our new line of speaker, which is Chento, Chento Pro. Those are out as well now, still running strong. In 2020, we switched on our SPL side of things to using an N38 grade neodymium magnet. So just making the speaker lighter while keeping the exact same magnetic force, as well as using finite element method or FEM design to optimize all of our speaker designs. And then in 2023, we've relaunched a new DSP called our S8, which is Power Sports Car Audio Style DSP. We have new Harley-Davidson specific kits on the way, and as well as our new EISA award-winning thin flagship woofer, our Melee Pro, or MPS 250, as well as a preloaded enclosure. So Ben, it's not, there's nothing that Hertz hasn't done in car audio that they don't know about. You know, it's a very well-established company. It's heritage in car audio. It was born in car audio, and that's really where they shine. We make our speakers to sound great in cars.
You know, Justin, it is undeniable the pedigree that Hertz Audio represents, especially within car audio. And I think you hit the nail on the head. You know, you mentioned the La Voce speaker manufacturing. So let's start with that. Let's start with the speaker offering from Hertz, because it's a pretty strong offering across a couple different series. Where would you like to begin?
Today, we're going to talk about 3 lines in this Hertz speaker lineup. So we're going to start off talking about our flagship, or our kind of top line, which is Melee. Then we will move down into our Chento Pro series. And then we will move, last but not least, into our Dietche series. Each of them have significant aspects to a certain sound or vehicle, or just reason for the speakers there that they cater with. So like I said, the first one we're going to talk to you about is the Melee series. So Melee, since its production, has always had one goal. It is to be the reference for the enthusiast. The Hertz designers have a commitment to be rewarded both by internal process representatives and in-car listening results. All right, so we have several awards on our Melee speakers. So the kit that you're looking here right now is our Melee award-winning Melee component kit, the MLK 1650.3. So it incorporates effectively 2 speakers and 1 passive crossover system. So the speaker that you see right here, this is the MLK 165.3. So there's a lot of technology that goes into this. So we use an IIR butyl surround to ensure that that speaker is never ever going to begin to sag or wear out in the suspension and the motor side of things. All right. The other thing we do is we also use what we have called a V-cone. So the V-cone that you see in our speakers is comprised of almost a 1-piece cone all the way through the speaker. So it acts much more like a piston in keeping the speaker linear when it moves through its range of motion. Obviously, doing that is going to reduce distortion and allow it to push a lot more air or handle a little bit more power. The other unique thing that we do with this speaker is we use what we call boundary-free surround. So the surround on our speaker, on our MLK 165, if you'll notice, it's almost a seamless attachment towards the cone. And what that does is gives a perception in the air movement much of that of a larger speaker in a 6.5. We also use a die-cast aluminum basket on that one, so that obviously when you're putting it into a vehicle, you're not going to be worried with a speaker that's a lot like a stamped steel basket, or if it's not perfectly flush on the door, what will happen is the frame of that speaker itself will warp or bend, right? And that's obviously when a speaker is, you know, linearity means everything in the way that the cone moves. Having a bent chassis is not going to help. And then last but not least on this big driver, as you can see on the back, that we have a really high quality N38 neodymium magnet inscribed with the Hertz logo and the ML165.3. Now, just quick note, if you notice on the back of that speaker, you'll see a little QR code. And what that is we call it's our EID system. So you can actually buy these speakers and scan that with your phone, and it will show you the journey of that speaker all the way from the date of manufacturer, etc., to give you everything that you need to know, and also guarantees authenticity of the speaker. This is our passive crossover. So when you look at our crossover, if you were to remove the cover, you'll notice that we have isolated terminals on the inside, a lot of copper, a lot of transformers, and then a lot of adjustment in this crossover. The majority of these speakers are actually run active, but this complete component kit, we do include the passive crossover. And on the tweeter, so this is our ML280.3. So one thing you're going to notice is quite a large tweeter, all right? And we use what's called Tetalon, which is that material that I kind of briefly touched on before, which is made of a treated silk, and it's really, really well known for the amazing sound characteristics. Now, what really makes these speakers shine, Ben, is that arguably the most common speaker that we put into vehicles today is not really the best configuration. So what I mean by that is we sell a ton of two-way components, okay? But the way a speaker plays has obviously a lot to do with how we hear it. So for example, what I'm talking about I'm talking about the actual dispersion of the sound, okay? So we manufacture our speakers, like for example, with this ML280, it has a aluminum block with a sound channel in it. So that gives us a frequency of 900 Hertz on that tweeter, which means we're using an 1800 Hertz crossover. So that means at 1800 Hertz, with the 6.5 you have in the door and the tweeter you have playing potentially in the A-pillar or sail panel, you're getting full frequency as well as the full ambience of sound, and you're getting a lot less directionality coming from a mid-bass driver being required to play a lot higher. Obviously, when you have a 6.5-inch driver playing at, well, the industry crossover point is probably between 4 and 5K, you get a ton of directionality. Now take that 6.5 that shoots straight ahead at that frequency range and put it down at your ankles. Obviously, you're going to have some issues. So that's why we really do say that Hertz speakers sound so good in the automotive environment, because they're designed for the automotive environment. So this two-way kit at 1800 Hertz, where the tweeter and the crossover meet, especially in an active situation for the woofer and the tweeter, you're getting the full spectrum audio and a lot less directionality that you would get with a lot of other speakers. All right, so what you guys see here is our Chento Pro speakers. So this is our Chento Pro 69 or CPK 690. This is our two-way kit. Now, our Chento line itself is designed for high efficiency, higher power handling, and once again, like I touched on previously, low FS. All right, so this is a CP690. So this is a press paper cone. It's FEM optimized geometry. It's extremely rigid. It's extremely light, and it's very well damped. And that's obviously going to give us a color-free sound. We use a dual-layer voice coil in that. It has a high-density flux ferrite magnet and low-carbon polar plates. It's compact and it's transparent in audio, as well as we use a three-spoke backet that's acoustically combined with a rubber magnet cover for total dampening of any spurious vibrations. All right, and to pair along with that CP690 is our tweeter, which is the CP25. The CP25 is a 29 millimeter coil with a Tetalon dome. It has a center tuning duct, and it is linear up to 22K. So this speaker right here, this component kit, will give us full spectrum audio with very little beaming at about 3K. So once again, we're still below the industry average in crossover points for a two-way component system, and still getting very similar results as you would get in a three-way, or when you had three speakers playing a dedicated frequency response, making our speakers, once again, sound so good in a car environment. All right, now we're going to move on to our Dieci line. Okay, so our Dieci line is the evolution of the Hertz brand. What it is it continues our synergy with Chento and Miele. It still has the use of the V-cone. We use a T-piece around, but the big part about Chento is it's designed for those who long for a high-quality sound system with an easy, affordable placement into factory speaker locations. All right, so this is the DV160.3, okay? So this has a mounting depth of 2.2 inches. This speaker is designed to be used in an OEM replacement or direct fit installation. We provide adapter rings for installation with these speakers, for installation in General Motors and Honda models with most 6-inch speakers. All right, we provide a built-in line crossover to save space in any sort of OEM upgrade material or upgrade scenario. And then we also use a pure copper voice coil wound on a connex former for extremely or maximum lightness. So this speaker with the V-cone will give us our best off-axis response, our clear mid-high frequency detail, and powerful bass in an OEM replacement speaker. And then to pair up with that, we have what's called our DT24.3, which is a 24 millimeter PEI dome cone tweeter. It's high efficiency, has a high efficiency annular acoustic lens, high energy neodymium magnet, and we include an abundance of mounting accessories to make sure that it's easily externally or embedded mounted into the vehicle. All right. And so, like I said, with inline crossovers, shallow depth, but peak performance, that makes the DHA line a no-brainer for anyone who's just looking to upgrade their sound or get their feet wet with Hertz itself.
As I suspected, the speaker range from Hertz is nothing short of extraordinary. Wide breadth of product, including OEM replacement options in that last DHA model and high-end audiophile type sound all the way up to the Miele. Now, obviously, this will transcend into subwoofer offering. And Justin, we're excited to hear all about the subwoofers from Hertz Audio.
Absolutely, Ben. We have a staggering amount of woofers as well. They coincide with our speaker lines. We have Miele, Chento, DHA, Uno, and SPL woofers. So we do have all selections of subwoofer covered. However, you and I don't have enough time today to go through the whole lineup of subwoofers. So today we're specifically going to focus on our new award-winning subwoofer, the MPS 250, and its counterpart, the preloaded enclosure, the MPBX 250. All right, so what you see here is the MPS 250. So we just won the EISA award for Best in-Car Sub for 2022 and 2023. The biggest thing about this woofer, obviously, is it's an ultra shallow overall depth. So we're coming in at 3¼ inches mounting and 4 inches total. Unlike a lot of other thin woofers, though, we have 500 RMS continuous power handling on this woofer, and it's optimized for extremely compact sealed enclosures. So we're talking 0.4, 0.5 sealed, or 0.6, 0.7 of a cube if you're going to port it. Now, what makes this woofer special is the fact that we are developed what we call our AIR technology, or air intercooling revolution. So what this does is, as the speaker moves through its range of motion, it will draw in cool air into the coil and the magnet and the motor structure and force out hot air. So it's increasing it in its efficiency, in its thermal efficiency and dissipation. So that's obviously going to increase the reliability of this woofer and allow us to get more output. It has 16 millimeters of mechanical excursion, a 6-layer copper voice coil, and its non-vented rear design allows it to be placed into a lot shallower enclosures. All right, so the other thing that's very unique about this woofer is when you buy this woofer, okay, it comes with the grill. The grill is not extra, all right? So you will receive the woofer as well as the grill. And once again, like most of our product, it does have that EID tag on the back, that QR code, where you can look and you can see the production and track this unit. And here is our new Miele Pro shallow enclosure. So this is a preloaded ultra shallow sealed enclosure, and it's specifically optimized to deliver all that our award-winning MPS 250 has to offer. All right, we're using a 0.6 inch wood thickness all the way around the box, panel-to-panel internal bracing with solid corners to minimize resonance, and then we put round corners on the box to ease the placement. Internally, we have bracing that runs vertically through the box, as well as sound-absorbing material to reduce acoustic resonance. All right, we use what we call our 2S2 technology on this. So we just means 2 sides, 2 sounds. Okay, so the design is to provide the ability to choose between downfiring using the mounting feet. Our mounting feet we include have a hook and loop system known as dual lock on it, and this stuff sticks like crazy. Make sure you know where it's going before you push these feet down, because if you pull it up, you're taking the entire trunk liner with you. All right, so obviously you're going to mount it down. We're going to increase the low frequency extension of this woofer, and if we flip it around and we mount it up firing, we're going to get a little bit more punch and definition. All right, we have traditional push terminals on this to provide kind of a bulletproof connection, as well as our SSP, or smart plug, right, for a plug and play and quick release system. We have a robust screwless mesh grill that's included with an adjustable logo position, and it is suitable for the reverse install. This thing is badass. As far as shallow woofers go, the one thing I want you to notice is the woofer doesn't stick out of the box much either. It follows the same footprint as a regular subwoofer. Obviously, the grill comes out because of the 16 millimeters of excursion on that woofer, but when it comes to thin woofers, this is the new bad boy on the block. And then when we continue on down from the Miele subwoofer, we get to our Chento line. Now, our R&D team is always on the forefront in the search for innovative solutions. With unfailing effort, we have succeeded in obtaining very powerful bass frequencies from an uncompromised, ultra-compact sealed enclosures. So one thing that you're going to notice is, I don't know if you've ever heard me, but spending a lot of money on a subwoofer and an incorrect enclosure will give you zero justice compared to spending less money on a woofer and designing an enclosure to the actual parameters. All right. With our Chento line, we have reduced depth, we have a compact magnetic group, and lack of rear decompression hole to allow the box to be kind of molded around our Chento woofers. So it allows you to get maximum freedom and insulation for any type of car. We use a special cooling system in it and a 6-layer voice coil, and that obviously helps keep the operating temperature down and increase reliability and power handling on the woofer. We can guarantee with our Chento woofers that we can deliver enough low-end extension to satisfy even the most demanding bass customer. And from then, jumping one step down now, we get to our DHE line. So our DHE line subwoofers are known for high efficiency and exceptional power handling. We use a polypropylene membrane and a butyl rubber surround. They, however, provide high excursion and minimal distortion. Our DHE line is our lineup for those people who are maybe more budget conscious or unsure of how far they want to go into the world of hi-fi audio in the automotive world. So we have built and designed DHE to be extremely reasonable and affordable to the consumer, as well as to deliver on all aspects of what you need in a subwoofer. And then should any of those woofers just not be enough for you, we have our SPL show line. All right, so our SPL show line is like the big bad boom boom. It is the multi-layer foam surrounds. It is oversized suspension. It is 12 gauge high current connectors. It is, you know, we use a non-pressed paper cone. It's got a dual 2-ohm voice coil. I mean, our 15-inch SPL is 1200 continuous, 2400 peak RMS of power. So when it comes into subwoofers, we can deliver with obviously many friendly reasons of install with the subwoofers that we have, especially in Chento and DHE, as well as Miele Legend and obviously Miele Pro in the form of an ultra shallow, ultra compact, high output performing woofer. And then if that's not enough and you really need to get your shake on, we offer SPL in a 12 and a 15 for those customers that want to rattle their windows.
So obviously we've come to this point in the conversation where we got to start talking about some power. By power, of course, I mean amplifiers. What solutions does Hertz Audio currently provide in the amplifier department, Justin?
Well, Ben, as you may have guessed, we obviously have a multitude of lines of amplifiers too. So we cover 4 lines of amplifiers within our Hertz catalog. We have Miele, which is obviously our reference in technology and sound. We have our HCP line, which is our combination of compact power, high value, and high performance. We have D-Power, which is kind of our access gate to the Hertz signature itself. And then obviously to go along with those big woofers, we have our SPL line of amplifiers, which is sound pressure and power, right? It is amps dedicated to that. So the first amp that we're going to talk to, and the only one we're really going to get into in depth about today, is our ML Power 5, or our 5-channel amplifier. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this one. All right, so this is our ML Power 5. All right, so this is a D-class amplifier. It's 4x100 and 1x550 at 2 ohms. Now, what makes this amplifier kind of unique is we use what's kind of known as advanced Class D technology on this. All right, so that comes down to the actual switching, the frequency of the switching devices inside of the amplifier to push any audible noise beyond the audible spectrum. All right. As you can see from this amp, we use extrusion and aluminum die casting. So what that does for us is it enables the melee power to work constantly at full power without ever overheating. So we are maximizing thermal efficiency and dissipation. All right, these amps feature a automatic turn on as well as our ML power in module, which is speaker or input. Now, one thing to minimize noise, we actually have a speaker input that has balanced inputs. Okay, so and when you're using the speaker input, the ART or automatic remote turn on is enabled. The second you switch to low voltage or RCAN, it will be turned off. All right, now we'll obviously avoid unpleasant bumps. So the ML Power 5 really is that sound quality hi-fi style amplifier that you can run an active set of components and a woofer or front passive and a coax and a rear. You really can deliver with one amplifier for one system in an automotive environment, as well as know that you're getting clean, correct, amazing sound.
Well, we've come to the end of the presentation, Justin, and I must say this is a lot to chew on because this is a huge offering from a brand that, of course, has had its feet wet within the car audio game for quite some time. And after all this is said, between the speakers and the subwoofers and the amplifier solutions that Hertz is presenting here, what message do you have for dealers tuning in that want to consider becoming the next Hertz audio dealer?
Well, Ben, I think at the end of the day, there's a couple really, really strong reasons why you need to be on board with Hertz. I mean, first things first, it's a wonderful brand with an enormous breadth of product, which means you can literally run your store with one brand should you need to. We cover everything from high-end SQ to entry level to even marine, SPL, and motorcycle now. All right. The other thing is, as Hertz itself continues to evolve and develop in Canada, so does a partnership with Automobility. Automobility has put provisions in place. They've hired more staff and are continuously expanding their programs to make sure that there's an abundance of support for the dealers willing to jump on board with Hertz. They consider it as a family. The culture of Hertz is what makes car audio. Car audio is a culture, and Hertz is on the forefront of it. All right, with the support measures in place from AutoMob in terms of training, in terms of product offerings, in terms of whatever it may be, and the continual growth of the company and the brand, it really does make selling Hertz a no-brainer. Very rarely can you find a speaker brand or any brand in car audio nowadays that just checks off all the boxes, not just on the front end or the product end, but everything that goes down to it on the support side of things and how you will be trained and how you will be comfortable. And even if you're new to the brand, how quickly can we get you comfortable with the brand? Hertz is a fantastic brand. It's a brand that's based on technology and performance. And obviously, if you know me, you know that's kind of what I'm about. And yeah, it's techie, it's cool, it sounds amazing, and it works very well. So I really don't see any other reasons why you wouldn't want it in your store.
And that was our good friend Justin Bond giving us the deets all about Hertz Audio. If you're looking for more information on Hertz Audio product, anything that we covered in this show, because there is a lot that we didn't get a chance to get to, I do recommend you head over to their official website, hertz-audio.com. And if you happen to be a Canadian dealer, well, it's obvious. Automobility is the exclusive distributor for all things Hertz Audio in Canada. In closing, I have to agree with Justin's comments. This is a brand ingrained in technology, in the whole spirit of what cardio is all about, by making products that sound amazing in a car. And I think that was my takeaway today. Yes, do they make product in every category? Check. Do they have different offerings and different levels in every category? Check as well. But most importantly, I think what AutoMob is presenting here is a package that dealers will find very friendly from a support standpoint, from a product offering standpoint, and from just a product appeal standpoint. That's it for this CMA Networks presentation brought to you by SiriusXM. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM with over 150 channels in your vehicle. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.